he is in Colorado. He is in Denver. He is ready for game 1 tomorrow night. How good is this Heat team? Because, they're 9-point underdogs tomorrow, but they've disposed of the Bucks and the Knicks and the Celtics, but nobody's really giving them a chance against Denver. Is this a really good NBA team that people are sleeping on?
I think it can be, because the problem is the trust factor. I know Solana and I have talked about this in the past. It's like, which Heat team's going to show up? Is it the one that's going to shoot 50% from three like they did a season ago? And we saw them do that a couple times against the Celtics and, shoot lights out from the field and blow the Celtics out, basically. And that's when they seem to be at their best. But when this team is off, it is really off. And that's why I think, you see some big point spreads when it comes to when they take on the Celtics, or now when they take on, the Nuggets. What is it now? Like 9?
9.
Because you just, it all comes down to whether, and I know it's oversimplifying it sometimes for, basketball talk, but that's what it comes down to with Miami. When they hit their shots, they can hang with anyone.
And Mike, that thought of what the Heat really are, not the thought of it, what this team is, where like Caleb Martin stepped up in Game 7 and balled out. He was the best player. Jimmy's going to be Jimmy. But even like, I can't say Bam is the second best player. Is he the second best scorer? No. But can that work where you have, flat out it's Jokic and Jamal Murray. Everybody knows that. Now the Heat is Jimmy and one other guy has to do something. Can that work?
Right. No, it has to be Jimmy and it has to be Bam, because Bam's got maybe the toughest assignment this week, right? But Bam's got to get it going. I know the last couple games, maybe the shots weren't falling, but at least in Game 6, you do like some of the aggression there just because of the amount of shots he was putting up. He just has to get better at finishing. But it can't be just Jimmy and Caleb. It needs to be Jimmy, Caleb, Bam. It's gonna have to be Mark's boy. Mark, that was weird.
Yeah, nobody calls me Mark, but if you're gonna talk about Duncan Robinson, I don't care.
You have to get it from everywhere, and that's why you heard the talk about in the post game. Like, is this did the most talented team win that series? And I was saying no, but the better overall team did, because when they come together cohesively, they're really tough to beat, but they have to get it from everybody. There's going to be some of those games in these series, just hope there isn't too many, where they probably don't get that kind of contribution. It's going to hurt.
There's something liberating though about not having any expectations, isn't there? For both the teams, for the Heat and the Panthers. Like I think these runs to the finals have been that much more enjoyable because the expectations, there's no expectations. I think the Panthers have more expectations against Vegas than the Heat do against Denver.
I was going to say, I think the expectations, storyline has maybe shifted for that one. For the Heat, they're still playing with house money, being, the 8th seed. It's cool they got here, see how far they can take this. They'll obviously make NBA history if they can win an NBA title. But the way the Panthers have just been putting away opponents, I know some of these games are close, but sweeps are sweeps. 5-game series or 5-game series, the way they're doing that, I think the expectation for them has changed. The expectations where they were at when they went to the postseason last year, to me, that's where the Panthers are now again. Like, you are almost expecting wins every time they hit the ice just because of how well they're playing.
And Mike, this is an interesting question to me. I asked Brian Geltzeiler yesterday, in a Heat's winning performance, what is Jokic's stat line?
Ooh, see, this is where it's like, do you just let Jokic be Jokic and then make sure the other guys don't get theirs and kind of let him try to beat you alone? Man, it's so tough because he can have a bad game and still have a triple-double, or what you think is a bad game. I don't know. I don't think there's any stopping him. I think it's more so you can't let the other guys go off. You have to be able to contain Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, all those guys. I think for me, Jokic is going to get his, and I don't think there's any stopping that.
Mike, as far as Tyler Herro goes, I know we've all seen the report, a probable return for him. Looks like it could be game 3. I'm not saying that's official, but that's what it's been reported. Is that something realistic that this Heat team can kind of hang their hat on, that at some point they could get that scoring relief from Tyler Herro once they return to Miami? Or should they not even be worried about it? And if it does happen, fine, but they should really focus on what's gotten them there to this point.
Yeah, I'm with the focus on what's gotten here, because it's going to be tough to work in a player into a rotation this deep in the playoffs and this rusty, right? Like, I know he's been practicing and working out and all that stuff, but to get just to be thrown into the intensity of the NBA Finals is going to be tough for anybody. Would they love to have him out there? Of course. But it's so, for me, it's like how do you mess with the hot hand? Remember, if we compare it to the Panthers, they had Alex Lyon in net until he wasn't hot anymore, because we're just riding that winning formula that got you into the playoffs. So to me, 20 points is 20 points. You can use it for sure, but I think that, I don't want to call it a desperate move, but if you see him all of a sudden getting big minutes, it's because they're not getting help from anyone else.
Mike Cugno is live in Denver for CBS 4. The coverage will be extensive. Do you know that today is Solana's birthday, Mike?
Is it?
Yes.
Solana, happy birthday, man.
Thanks, Mike.
You can legally drink now?
29. He's almost 30, Mike.
You're 29? Man. You look good for 29, Solana. I mean, I have to say.
He's doing well. I mean, the guy's on the Heat pregame and postgame. Is on CBS 4 more than you, because you've been on paternity leave. How's it? How is it being away from your daughter for the first time? Because you're in Colorado, and how old is your girl now?
She's about a month old. I do miss her, but last night, for the first time in a month, I've had more than 5 straight hours of sleep. So I'm happy about that. The wife is not happy about that, because she, on the other hand, is dealing with it over there. So, sorry, honey. Got to work.
Hey, Mike, all those barbecues you thrown and family members that came over, time to call in the favors, big dog.
Got to get a good night's sleep.
That's where you're wrong. You think I have people over at my house? No, I use the baby as an excuse to get out of stuff.
What do you prefer to fish for, snook or fluke?
Snook.
Snook, yeah.
And it's snook.
It's nothing like, there's nothing like getting that snook on a hook, right?
Especially if they're a slot and you keep them, you eat them. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. So, did you have your choice of going to Denver or Vegas, or is Jim Barry going to Vegas? What's the CBS 4 plan?
We're fanning out everywhere. We got me and JB here. We've got Samantha Rivera going to Vegas. We've got, I don't know what Goldie's doing. Does anyone check on him? He doesn't work enough.
Goldie is booked every minute of the day with some different gig.
Yeah.
So you
Goldie
chose
did something the other day. He went, like, he had his Goldie's Gang tournament. He did like a 5:00 live shot for us. Worked the Panther game. Did the post game show. Then came back the next day and was like, I honestly don't think he sleeps. I worry about him.
I would say between you, Solana, and Crowder and Goldie, there's about 80 jobs that are taken up between the 4 of you guys. It's really remarkable to me. You guys don't leave any scraps for the rest of us.
Give
so
me
what?
all
What
the
no,
jobs,
no.
Poppy?
Giving all the
24
jobs
hours,
to these
24
4
hours
guys.
in a day. 24 hours in a day.
What's your gut tell you, Cugno? Heat and Nuggets. How do you see the series playing out? Panthers, Golden Knights. How do you see that series playing out?
I think the Panthers win. I think the Panthers win in 5 or 6, and then I think, man, I'm sorry, I don't know if I have the guts. I sound like Solana on our air.
How crazy was that you asked Solana on Game 7, the day before Game 7, do you have the guts? And Solana's response was, "That's a tough question."
Yeah, that was panic mode for him. I've never seen him like that. And I actually felt like I betrayed him a little bit by sending you that video. But hopefully you guys got some good content out of it, at least. And gave him a hard time. Good. So,
Hey, cool.
So yeah, no, listen, the Heat, a lot of things need to break the right way for the Heat to win. If the Heat were to win, it's going to be like in 7. It's not going to be a short series. Shorter series probably benefits Denver for sure.
And Mike, talk about Denver, Miami, the rest thing, because Denver's been off longer.
Mm-hmm.
I have watched football, basketball for a long time. It goes both ways. They were rested. Oh, they were rusty. But the one thing I'm scared of is that damn altitude, man. Do you really think that's going to affect Game 1?
Is this real, or is this like a joke, like the Heat in Miami affected?
No, the altitude is real. Second night of a back-to-back when you travel to Denver, you always lose that game. The altitude is real. Are you having a tough time catching your breath?
No. No, I'm fine.
Have you worked out
I
yet,
think they're going to be.
Have you worked out yet?
No, I'll get that in a little later.
He's working
tonight.
out right now. You're doing curls right now. Admit it.
I'm doing air squats outside the interview room, waiting for Bruce Brown to show up.
So you don't give any credence to the altitude?
I don't know. I think when you're going to be here a few days, you probably get used to it, right? But like NFL might be different when you're just kind of in and out. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it takes like a half to kind of get adjusted, but yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know. This is my first time second time in Denver, but I've never had problems with the altitude here.
What about the humidity in South Florida? How will the Nuggets be able to overcome that?
Yeah, you see, that's a different one, because obviously we saw what happened. We have evidence. We have sample sizes with the Knicks. They completely fell apart because, that heat inside, that leaks inside the Kaseya Center is tough to deal with. So yeah, home court advantage there.
Did you order in room service last night?
No. Get this. I was on the plane. I was supposed to be upgraded to first class, and the one of the stewardess made a mistake, and they didn't. So they felt so bad. So they just kept bringing me all the first class food and wine for the entire flight. So like I knocked down like 3 charcuterie boards and a couple bottles of white wine.
Hey,
so that's basically what I've been eating.
Archie Bunker, we don't call flight attendants stewardesses since 1978. All
flight
right?
attendants.
All right,
I'm sorry. Flight attendants.
Let's throttle that back.
I
Archie
like it,
Bunker.
Mike.
Yeah, throttle it back.
My bad.
So what did the broads bring you? The broads brought you a little something. Wet your whistle. All right, I think we've
see now I'm panicking.
I know now that's
wrong?
in it. Now that's in his head.
Always goes too far.
That's in his head. It's a flight attendant. They're not stewardesses.
By the way, Archie Bunker was really like the end of my you were really flirting with me understanding that reference.
I know. I debated whether to do something more recent, but I don't think that they've been called stewardesses since Archie Bunker. That's a buzzkill though. If you're told you're going to be upgraded to first class and then all of a sudden you're sitting in coach, that's a buzzkill.
Well, I felt bad because like halfway through the flight, they're like, "Look, we're so sorry. You're supposed to be up here." And I was like, what am I supposed to do? Tell the guy who's been sitting there the entire time to get out? I was like, no.
You mean it was a clerical error?
Yeah, the guy in front of me was also named Michael. So they come over and they're like, Michael? And he looked up and said, yes. And they go, oh, we have your upgrade. And
Are you kidding me? This was like Twan Russell's draft day story.
Yep.
Are you kidding me? So they gave it to the wrong guy? Some schlub named Michael got your first class seat?
Yep. That's what happened.
Oh, my God. For sure you boot him out of that chair.
And he knew he wasn't supposed to be up there.
Of course.
Oh, look, he was just as surprised as I was when they came back. He's like, me?
Wow.
And I was like, I think I'm not sure if this is for you or not.
That's like when
you
that's like when you see the waiter deliver your appetizer to the other table and you know it's yours. And then they're going to have one and then say, we didn't order this, but now what are you going to do with it? Oh, I can't believe that happened to you. Brutal. All right. Well, hopefully you can overcome it on this road trip.
Yeah, hopefully the altitude doesn't get me.
All right. Mike Cugno watches reports on CBS 4. We love you, Cugno. Have a good time. Be safe, and we'll see you when you get back to South Florida.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Enjoy the game.